All right, what's up? So I wanted to give an update for the small web app that I have created called SimpleSpeed that's based on some research. Should have had it pulled up, but I'll link it in the video description. Um, but it outlines pretty much exactly how it works. And I did a video on this when I had like a kind of a prototype version going, but we've since um, added a lot more features. So I'll just kind of go over them. But first, I wanted to show you. Um, so we used, or my little brother showed me how to, rather than just copy and paste straight from like Claude or Perplexity or ChatGPT, um, this JetBrains application called WebStorm has Junie, which is like their proprietary AI thing, but it can like reference all of the code and everything in here, and you can just tell it like I need it to add like a pause button, and then it will literally be able to like look through each one of these files here, and it will just do what you ask it. It's pretty insane. Like I didn't write a single line of code. My little brother wrote a couple, but then we kind of just turned it into an experiment of like um what like we were basically just trying to make it fail, just asking it to do different things, and it the code is not super pretty according to my brother, but it works. Um, and it we could not stump it. So pretty freaking awesome tool to have. I used it for an entire weekend without having to pay anything. Like they give you like a certain number, and then like I think it was like yesterday or the day before, I finally hit the limit right as I was trying to implement um, some different stuff. But I do have it hosted temporarily because I know I've been talking in my last videos like, oh, I'm not gonna um, make this video that I'm making now until I have it so people can download. But it seems to be a little more tricky than I have time to dig into right now. So I found like kind of like a temporary solution where it's hosted, and as long as people are using it, I think it will stay up. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this. This is freaking amazing, and you can do this yourself. Like I said, the application is called WebStorm, and you literally just have to start asking it to do stuff. So the only thing that I did was I made all of these sounds. It's 120 different sounds, 3 octaves of guitar, 3 octaves of, or 5 octaves of piano, and then um, 3 octaves of saxophone. And so I had to manually make all of these, um, and and then point to the program points to this file structure, and that's how it reads them. But once again, we didn't have to manually code any of that in there. Um, so if I had to guess, let me see. This is 900 lines just in itself. That's another 500. The style sheet 700, and that's 200. So I mean, it's just wild. I'm like really freaking jazzed that I was able to make this. And yeah, I just think it's just gotten to a point where it's just pretty crazy. I want to make more. I've got the freaking sound assets, so if there's other game modes or anything you guys want to see implemented, please let me know, and I'll try and either make a new app or do it. Like there's a couple ideas I have floating around in my head. If I have some free time, I'd love to try and get them out there. But all right, that's enough of that. Without further ado, let me show you guys what we got here. So much like the first way that it was set up, well, first you can go ahead and write this down. You should be able to navigate to this website. It will load all the audio files, and it should have full um, capability. So I have it hosted here for free right now, and according to the website, as long as people are using it, um, it should stay up. So anyway, we've got 3 different instruments. You can, if you select more than one, it unlocks multi-instrument mode, which will, when it goes through the trials, it picks from either instrument. For anyone who's new, this program is based off of a trial in this study. Yeah, so you can read this, but basically the program mimics this exact thing. It picks a target tone, and then it plays a series of 16 random notes from, it could be all from the piano, it could be a mixture of the piano and the guitar, it can be a mixture of piano, guitar, and saxophone, and then here it would be just within octave 3, those random 16 tones, and then it would intermittently randomly place the target tone in that string, and you have to react when you hear the target tone. Later on, I think in this one, the second program, this one introduced multiple octaves. This one was just the white keys, so that's this mode here, and then I expanded it to chromatic mode, which is all 12 notes, and then this one has different instruments, and C to B5, and then I have not made this one yet, this third one, but either way you can do some of your own reading, but from what I've experienced using it, this helps to increase your pitch memory. So like you'll see when we start playing that it's like it'll play the target tone, and then it might not happen until like the 8th tone or so. So you have to keep the target tone in your mind to be able to remember what that pitch was and then react to it. And the different instruments and timbres, and especially with the multiple octaves, it gets pretty hectic, and it gets pretty challenging. So I'll just do one just because, just to show you here, and then you can do it in the fixed order or randomized order, which is the fixed order is, with the naturals C through B, C, D, E, F, G, yada, 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 or randomized, it will randomize those and then repeat the pattern. So that's why there's a total of 14, because there's 7 notes times 2 repetitions. This here, this accuracy stuff, the only thing that you can really trust is the average reaction time. This doesn't count missed notes against you. It only counts correct hits. It's not reliable at all, so it wasn't really a priority. So you're just gonna have to use your judgment when you're playing, but I'll just kind of show you how it works. Nice, right? So if you scroll up, these don't stay at the top of the screen, but if you scroll up, there's a cancel, and then there's a back to modes thing. It can be a little buggy, so if stuff goes haywire, just restart. So pretty straightforward stuff. I will mention that the number of times the target note can happen is random, and that's to keep you on your toes. Just in case, if I tried to refine the algorithm as much as I could to make it not necessarily evenly dispersed across the 16 tones, but there's certain patterns that I didn't allow to happen, like target note. I'm not sure if I want to tell you guys, to be honest. But just know that they're just randomized just to keep you engaged and keep you on your toes. Just in case if you hear it a certain number of times you think it's over, there could be 1 or 2 extra or whatever the case may be, right? So that mode, pretty easy, pretty straightforward, especially in 1 octave. So check it out when we do multiple octaves With the piano, we have up to 5 octaves that we can select. Um, I'll get to this in a second. I just want to demonstrate this, and we'll use chromatic mode to open lock all or open lock unlock all 12 tones. And yeah, check this out. I wasn't sure. Yeah. So oh shit. Um so that was, I like that example because it showed immediately that regardless of the octave that the target note is in, it will still count as the target note. So yeah, it can get pretty tricky. So I'll just show you an extra, or I'll show you this mode just to demonstrate it, and then I'll explain this extreme mode. So this is just to show you that it will mix and match between the different timbres. All 3 of these instruments have 3 octaves each, or at least 3 octaves each. You can see here piano 5 or octave 5 is piano only. So it is now going to choose a target note, randomly pick an instrument, randomly pick a note and an octave, and just kind of jumble everything together, and then you got to pick out the target note. So it's guitar, guitar again, guitar again, piano, saxophone. Oh shit. Oh my god. So you can see that it can get tricky, and if you're not focused, like I am, not focused now, it's pretty easy to get them wrong. So now that leads me to this next mode. So this is not in this study. This was just kind of something that when I was doing it with just 1 octave and 1 instrument, it kind of came to me because I was like, man, this is pretty simple. You're not really getting much of these wrong, or like it's kind of hard to get them wrong. Like, what if we had more random notes? So this here, and don't pay attention to these numbers. These numbers are not correct. I changed this, like I said, to be random. But this is now 32 notes instead of 16. So and then it is less, like, it's going to be less than the normal mode. I don't know exactly, but it's challenging. There could be a string of like 15 notes before you get back to the target note, right? And then this other toggle here, this was kind of more for testing purposes, but I left it in. It saves like half a second each note. So if you're like kind of pressed for time, you can remove this, but I think that it, kind of lowers the difficulty a little bit, even though it is under extreme mode. Kind of lowers it because you don't have to remember the pitch as long, right? Because if it goes, 12 tones, a second and a half, per tone plus 500 milliseconds per tone as well. So that's, 24 seconds on with the width delay. You're only looking at, I don't even know, a third of that or 2/3 of that, 18 seconds, without the delay. So you don't have to remember the target note as long, but the notes do come more rapid fire at you. So for me, it's impossible for me to use relative pitch while I'm using this, especially with multiple octaves, just because it's so fast. But if you do find that with delay, you think you're able to use it, maybe try the no delay, and it might be a little bit faster, and you won't have time to process, and all you'll really be able to do is just keep that note in your mind and do your best to remember it. But so I'll just show you how this works. I'll do all 3 and 3 octaves again, and like I said, you can customize this however. If you want to do, you have to select one and then select off of it. If you want to do just guitar and saxophone, if you want to do piano and saxophone, you can do it however you want, and it will still go 32. It just pulls, it just won't pull from the other one. So all customizable. If you do this, it just kind of, it puts the piano a little bit outweighted, I guess. There'll be more piano sounds than kind of the other one. So I like to do octave 2 through 4 when I'm doing all 3, because then they're evenly distributed. Which even sometimes it doesn't really seem that way, but the more you use it, like sometimes you'll just have bad sequence generation. So just keep playing, you'll get a decent one. But I'll show you this, and then I think I'm gonna call it. You can do your own practice. I'm gonna hang this up and practice a whole round. If you do the extreme mode all the way through, it takes almost 20 minutes. I think it's just shy of 20 minutes. So it's definitely not super quick, but I think it's really good. If you can set aside some time to do it, for sure. But I'll try my best at this one. The last time I did this, I literally had like 60% accuracy. So we'll try it. Whew. Okay, so that was actually pretty good, but it's super fun. And yeah, I hope you get some use out of it. Let me know if you experience any bugs. There are a couple. If you, for instance, if you click back at the end of the trial before it goes to the next one, it will keep playing. I'll show you. did extreme. My bad. My bad. So if you see what I mean, so then you're gonna have to refresh the page because it'll just keep going. So that's just a known bug that haven't got around to fixing. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. All right, peace.